Hey there everyone, we returned back from our journey. We went from Creighton, Saskatchewan where we live, it's a border town, to Flin Flon, Manitoba, and we traveled all the way down to Creemore, Ontario, and then back again to northern Saskatchewan. So one of the issues that we came up with along the way were these mason jars, and the issue was that they were falling off, and the screws that I thought were going to be good enough were actually pulling through the entire lid. So that didn't work for us. So 2 or 3 instances where these actually fell off, and there were rice or quinoa all over the floor, and it made an absolute mess. So the solution to the problem is going to be a much larger washer, and also coupled with a bolt and a nut, and simply you drill out the locations. We have 27 mason jar stations on both sides. Over here we have more. These ones are for our spices, and the lower ones are for our dry goods. So the solution to the problem is simply taking one of the lids. Even if it's been damaged, it'll still work now. And you take the much larger washer, you put through the bolt, and then you put on the cap, and then you simply run it through the space or the hole where it was originally. So last night Libby and I recorded our first podcast. It's called A Canadian Schoolie. You can go to our website and listen to the podcast, or you can check it out on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And what it's going to be are the stories of Canadians who own schoolies and their experience, what they do with their schoolie, how they travel. If they travel, maybe they live in them. Some people have businesses out of them. But the whole idea for me coming up with this idea of just doing Canadian schoolies is because a lot of the research that we did on schoolies was based on people who had them in the United States. And it was great for ideas and great for doing some of the work that we did in this bus. However, when it comes to insulation or living in a school bus in the wintertime, the Canadian climate is different. So I wanted to get those stories out there of the Canadian people who own schoolies. So you can check out that podcast. But that's where I mentioned this last night. And the solution, it solves the problem. Look at that. There's no more wobble in these mason jars. A lot of people really like these mason jar arrangements, especially those folks that got to view the bus from the outside during our travels. They're quite intrigued about the dry goods storage and how we did it. And this was the solution to the problem. One much larger washer. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and visit our website at acanadiansschoolie.ca, or you can check out our podcast, A Canadian Schoolie, on whatever platform you like to listen to podcasts to. So there's going to be stories from coast to coast, and there'll be ideas and solutions to problems, much like the one that I showed you today. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we will talk to you later.